Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of OneMicNite, the podcast that brings you stories of artists and people on their journey, helping to guide, answer questions, and motivate you in the business. Now, you already know who I am. I'm Marcos Luis, but here today we are talking films and the challenges of independent filmmaking, along with one film in particular. The film is called Heart. It's a film about love, art, sex, and addiction. And I have two people that are working on the film. Josh Berresford and Noelle Joy Sorenson, excuse me. Welcome to the podcast, you guys. How you doing?
Thank you so much for having us. And this is Timmy. He snuck down in the basement here. Oh, he's gone.
Hey, Timmy.
14.
Listen, guys, I have questions. I have a lot of questions for you. First of all, I want to start off with you, Noelle. You are the writer, producer, actor. You wear a lot of hats in this film.
Yeah.
What is this film? Tell us a little bit about the film.
Okay, sure. Heart is a love story. And without giving, I'm trying not to give too much away. It's about these two characters, Shame and Naomi, and the differences that perhaps pull them apart and the thread that may or may not keep them together. And it also deals with talent, and Josh's character is a very talented artist. And I do want to sort of touch on, I did secure the art of an artist that I love, Stephen Kerner. We're actually going to have some of his work in the film. So it does revolve around some of the challenges of being an artist, but it is all about relationship and some twists and turns and things like that.
I love that. Where did the story come from? Are you drawing from personal experience, or is it something, just a subject you want to explore, or a little bit of both, or what?
Honestly, it started, I was prompted for screenwriting because of, believe it or not, a suggestion of a filmmaker friend of mine, Luke Bond, who I met at a film festival. And he was saying, you know, you should write. So I have this other film that's longer, and it's going to take more money, more time, etc. And he was saying, you know, why don't you write something shorter? And I immediately thought, well, what? I just sort of went into my meditation, and this kind of came out of it, the inspiration for it, and then, you know, editing and layers and then more inspiration and waking up at 1:30 in the morning and voice noting yourself and then writing it the next day. And it kind of, it evolved. It was actually a longer film back in October. It was more like maybe a 15, 20-minute film. And now it's down to about 7 or 8 minutes because I'm just sort of sculpting it and making sure that it just tells the story, gives to the audience, and hopefully no dead wood.
I like that. I like that because, you know, all the things that I mentioned are things that are so relatable to people, to us where we are right now. You know, you're talking about love. We all want to be in love. We've all been in love, or we want to be in love. You know, art always plays an important role in our lives. Creativity, you know, how we're drawn to art, sex. You know, need I say more about that? And addiction, you know, which sort of could relate to all of them.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I like how they're all intertwined. I want to bring Josh in on this discussion too. Like Josh, bona fide star. We know him from a lot of things. We know him from HBO, NBC, ABC. He was on FBI. Josh, how did you get on board with this project?
Actually, Noelle and I were taking a master class together on auditioning. Go figure. And then she helped me at a audition for Blue Bloods, and then she was helping me run lines for that, run lines, and I loved how patient she was with me as we were running the lines. And I actually got a call back for that. Didn't get the part, but that's all right. But I give a little credit to Noelle for getting me the call back. But then she asked me, well, Noelle probably can answer this better because you, out of the blue, somehow, some way you were like, oh, he's perfect for this. But I forget like what happened. So maybe Noelle can take that.
No, I was just thinking, I don't think I wanted to work. I loved working with him so much, just running the lines. After he told me he got the call back, and I was so excited for him because I love when my fellow actors win. And then he did, but he had someone else that was up for an audition the same show, and he actually didn't work with. We didn't like run lines or go over anything after the callback.
Actually, two of my friends were for different roles in the same show. That would have been awesome if we all got to work together.
I was like,
and like best friends. Like it was really crazy. I was like, we're all going for the same episode.
But I wanted to work with him again, and I was like, kind of like, oh man, because I thought he was just really great and fun to work with. I liked watching him work on his craft, and.
I think she likes that I'm crazy and I have no filter.
No, I mean, I really.
As she gets to know me more, she's like, "Oh my God, you're perfect for this," because we have sex scenes and I'm like naked. I'm like, I did it in Fort Lauderdale, no problem. You know?
That's funny because how
this time I won't need the Viagra though, because we're not going to show all of that.
How connected is that? You know, when you're an actor or when you're working in one field of, you know, the film industry, when you decide to make a film or you work on another project, how connected is that you either call someone, hey, I know someone who can do this part, or hey, is that a big part of what you do?
I mean, wait, we're talking to me now, right?
We're talking to both. But yeah, you.
Oh, my thing, I'm in the middle of writing a short series, you know, like to put it on YouTube or whatever, and then if someone wants to pick up or whatever. But it's the premise is a telepathic actor who's in a relationship with a very conservative person, and they're kind of like the odd couple and their dog. It's called You, Me, and JP. But as I was writing it, I pictured my friend Nora would be in the first scene with me, and it's a very interesting. I'm not going to give anything away yet, but the scene is hilarious, and it's not PG. It's not PG. Let's put it that way.
That's kind of what I mean.
Nora, and then now I've made really good friends with my friend Julie, and now I picture her doing it. So I think it's kind of, you just picture people that you know. Well, and it's good that we know actors, but you know, I don't know. Is it the same for you, Noelle?
Well, I mean, it just depends. And I think it's great to do the audition process if you're not sure, but it sure is helpful if you end up meeting someone or see their work, see how you work together, and if they really make sense for that role. Josh just really made sense for Shane. And then Natalie Roy had said, oh, you guys work well together. And I actually hadn't thought of it. The only thing I thought of was, oh, I really liked working with him, even just running the lines. It was really nice, you know. He's just a good actor. And then he helped me with some self-tapes, and someone, the Natalie who was running the masterclass had mentioned that she was like, oh, you work well together. And all of a sudden, like the light bulb went off, and I was like, wait a minute. I think he would be really good for Shane. But this film, just so you know, I'm not going to say anything. Actually, I'm going to take that back.
That's okay. Where are you in the process?
This would be the third time I've been offered a role without having to audition. So thank you.
I love that.
I love that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Auditioning is the worst.
And that's kind of what I was getting at. How often
do you, of auditioning and actually having the role?
Right.
Two different things.
Yeah. How often do you meet someone or you get a role because based on them having seen what you've done or knowing your personality, you fit a role, or they're writing something for you with you in mind? It's happened to me as an actor, you know, and I've gotten scripts because they know my personality or they've seen some work that I've done. And I was just curious if that happened with this film with you. Where are you in the process of this film?
We're in pre-production.
Mm-hmm.
The producing end of it is very prevalent right now, and also prepping for the acting part of it. We have a crew.
And every day she sends me a rewrite.
No.
I told her, I said, I'm going to have it memorized by the 28th. Are we done with the rewrites yet?
But yes, I did send him one today.
That's funny.
That should be it. I I care about.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
It happens. I know. I know. I know. You have to know, Noelle, when it's right. You have to know when it's right. Only you know.
Exactly. And I mean,
That's
it's
hilarious.
you sleep and then at 1:30 in the morning you wake up and you like see something and then you're voice noting yourself and you go through it and you're like, no, this is better. This is better. And what do I want? What do you want I think it's important. What do you want to say and what do you want the audience to come away with? What do I want to give here?
Absolutely.
It kind of haunts you, or at least for me. Like I thought it was done when I gave Josh the first script. But then then something like starts to like get at you, like this little nudge, this thing. And it kind of doesn't go away. So I think it's like anything in the creative process. It's like you could try to push it away, but if it keeps coming at you, eventually you're going to either want to deal with it or just drive yourself or be very, I guess, go through life very disoriented or upset or something,
Right.
like, do it. It's weird. I think it's an interesting process for sure.
Is this the first project you've written
No,
that you'll bring to film? Okay.
no, but it is the first one that I'm filming and wearing all these hats. I did write something that I was going to film the end of 2019, 2020. My lead actor actually had booked something out in LA and then decided to live out in LA. And then, of course, 2020 hit and everything was put on pause. But that script, I'm hoping, knock on wood, we're going to do that. I'll do that after this because that's just, it's more involved. There's more locations, there's more actors, there's more shoot dates.
It's a feature, right? Full length.
No, I have features actually that I'm working on, but I'm not touching them.
Oh, that one is it? Oh, I thought it was. Okay.
No, I have features. This is but it's a longer short. This is a short. The other one is going to be like 20-25 minutes, but it's a story I want to tell. It's not like, I mean, there's a lot of ways that short films, I think, get inspired to be made, right? A lot of times, sometimes actors are like, let me make a short film. I'm not doing anything right now. I want to keep working, on my craft and have my feet in it. Or, maybe they want to do something for a reel and that's all legitimately wonderful. But these are stories again, God will, like, knock on wood, if it's meant, I want to get it out. I want to get it out completely, out of my body, out of my mind. And yeah, so
like that
one. And then the features I have a couple that I've started, but it's hard. Right now I need to get this in the can, get it done. And then I can focus on writing for a little bit, before maybe going back out there and, financing this other short that I would like to do as well before hitting a feature. But yeah.
What are you finding in your journey wearing all these hats? Is there something that sticks out to you? Like, are you loving the producing part? Are you loving the writing part? Are you loving the acting part? Are you loving the...
I'll tell you the truth. It's a weird thing. The control addict in me loves it. She just loves it. She's like, oh, great, I can control everything. I'm casting. I'm going to figure out money. I'm going to figure out I can take the crew myself, like all that kind of stuff.
Right.
That's really exciting. And I do
I'm happy to know her because when I do my project, I'm like, Nicole, will you be a producer for me, please?
I'll Nicole again. We talked about this. It's a thing.
Nicole. Oh my God, Noelle. Why do I keep saying Nicole?
Let's make this public right now. This is a general.
Noelle. Sorry, Noelle.
I know somebody on, like, I remember I was on Luke Cage and I was talking to one of the wardrobe ladies and her name was Noelle and spelled it the same way as mine. And we had the best conversation about Noelle's are notoriously called Nicole's.
Okay, good. It's not just me.
Really?
Yes, it's fine.
I keep calling her Nicole. I've done it a couple times now.
It's all good.
I wouldn't even have noticed there unless you just said it.
it's like a thing. It doesn't, I'm just saying, you know, since we're here, I'm Noelle. All right. So the control.
Actually, no, I've already sang it to her. Noelle, Noelle.
It's a beautiful thing. I like it.
Beautiful person, Noelle.
So, yeah, so
I'm very glad to call you a friend now.
I feel the same about you. Josh is a really great person. So I'm really glad I know him and he's involved in this. Yeah, so the control freak, yes, loves it. The part of me that likes to be a little manic loves it. You know, manic as far as workaholic kind of thing. But it can get overwhelming. And in the beginning, with each step, you know, but I thought about that actually, Marcos, and I'm thinking like as an artist, because everybody here is an artist, I feel like there's always a little bit of overwhelm when we're about to be vulnerable. And,
Yes.
you know, like if you're looking at even just the acting aspect, like, you know, you want to do a good job and there's always that moment of fear against faith.
Absolutely.
I've been in it
Absolutely.
20 years. I still get nervous, and I tell, because I coach online too, new actors, and I tell them like the nerves never go away. And as I've been watching, I watch a lot of like American Idol and shows like that, and it was Carrie Underwood was on there mentoring them, and they said, "What do you do about the nerves?" She said, "I still get nervous." She said, "And I think that's a good thing." She said, "Because I care." You know, she's like, I want to do it right and I want to give them a good show. So I still get nervous.
Right.
And she said, that's just something you just live with. They'll always be there. And if they aren't there, then you need to question what happened to my nerves.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's how you direct that energy of the fear into either your performance or what you're doing. And I think, you know, along with
Or
you,
I say, my advice is I call it I watch a lot of, I don't know if any of you guys have heard of Amy Jo Berman. She was on,
yes.
but yeah, she has great advice, a lot of free advice.
Yep, a lot of free
I
advice.
watch a lot of her webinars, whatever, and she said, that's your crazy roommate in your head. And she said, and they're not going to go anywhere. They're going to be there, but you have to just put them in the passenger seat and you're in the driver's seat. So your nerves are that crazy roommate in your head, and they're going to be there, but you're driving. You can't let them drive.
Right.
I'm all these self-help guru things, all this stuff. I got my crystals that I hold, and
no, it's so true. It's a whole psychological thing that you've created in your own mind.
And acting is like, yeah, you have to have a good mindset or you'll go crazy.
Right. You absolutely do. Josh, you have any desire to do any of those things, like do your own independent film or work? Or
yeah, that's what I was saying. I'm writing the little series called You, Me, and JP, and I want it to be, there's definitely shock value, and that's just, I don't know, I've always I like comedy, and I never get to go for any comedic roles, really. Very, very seldom. I'm always a killer or a hitman or a racist or a bad cop, a detective. Like, I never get to go for anything comedy, and people always tell me how funny I am, and I think I'm kind of funny. Like, I have a good sense of humor, and I just started writing this script. I don't know. I forget where the idea came from, but I'm going to tell you the first. Let me tell you the opening scene, and then you tell me if this is going to go somewhere. So it's the conservative husband comes home. It's a gay couple, me and my black husband. I'm kind of basing it kind of off of my life, but not really. Like, I'm taking it further. And he's coming home, and he's very conservative, like coming home in a suit and tie and whatever. And he hears coming. He's like, what the hell? So then he comes in, he opens the bedroom door, and it's me getting pegged by a woman, and she's with her boobs all hanging out, and she's pegging me. For real, she's pegging me. And there's a camera crew there. I'm an actor. And he's like, Josh, what are you doing? I'm like, cut. And I get all irritated. I tell him, I'm like, cut. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, but she's really fucking you. I'm like, I'm method. You know that. And then I have telepathic powers. And so then I turn on my and I tell him from my mind to his mind, I'm like, just leave and take the dog for a walk. And then he's like, okay, well, come on, JP, let's go for a walk. And then he leaves. So I have that power. So I don't know. I'm just, and I haven't, I just have the first episode. That's it. And it will be that. And then I have some other scenarios, but I don't have like the whole, like, where's it going to go story, but I'm still working on that. But I don't know. What do you think? I think it's hilarious.
I think it's hilarious too. Yeah. I mean,
the whole scene, and I'm so irritated. I'm like, cut. I'm like, why? What are you doing?
Keep us informed on how it develops.
Oh, and I love the line I wrote. Whenever I'm like, last looks, touch ups, and then she's like, can you put some powder on my tits? Are sweaty. So stupid. I don't know where I come up with this stuff. Noelle, good luck with me on set.
So Noelle, how can we help you with the film?
Well, one of the things that we're still in is production. So we do have a crowdfunding campaign going on right now for Heart the movie. And I don't know if you can get those links up. But
absolutely will. Yeah, it'll be in the notes of the episode.
Yeah, no, I mean, anything that people donate goes to the film. It goes to production, post-production, just some of the like external drives, things like that. And we're giving back. We have some.
She has some amazing like prizes and gifts.
Some good swag and incentives and things like that. Wow.
Really cool stuff for the raffle that we're going to have, giving away a lot of different really nice things that we've gotten from some amazing, generous sponsors, and premiere tickets, because we are planning on hitting the festival circuit. But actually, Josh Marcos has just finished hosting the
Harlem International Film Festival. Yeah, that was
that looked nice. I saw your pictures on Instagram. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a 3-day live and 2-week virtual. So I did all the virtual talkbacks with the filmmakers online too, and yeah, it's amazing. And this is what I like to do, because I want to create a film community, actors, filmmakers, and that's why I have this podcast, so we can all get together and we can get the message out there. A lot of people don't even know what it takes to make an independent film. People just think that, one day you come up with an idea, you go out, you shoot it, and it's, here's the film, and then it's done, it's finished. That's the end of it. But that's not what happens. There's a lot more to it, a lot more. Whether you're on the acting side, whether you're on the production side, there's so much more that's involved. And that's why I wanted Noelle to tell us, a little bit about
the roles of festivals.
Right.
Like, I've gotten in trouble with that, just trying to help out with films. And they're like, what are you doing? I was like, what? I'm just trying to help. They're like, you can't do that. You can't send that. Da, da, da. I was like, oh, sorry.
Right.
I didn't know. Yeah. It's a lot of roles when it comes to the festivals.
Like a whole etiquette. They want to premiere it at the festival before you can let your donation people see it. No one
Absolutely. Can. Nobody can see it. It can't be on YouTube. It can't. People want to have world premieres. People want exclusivity. There's so many factors that go along with it.
Yeah.
And also just traveling with the film. Once you get the film made, is fantastic, because you go to places where you're premiering your film and you're in a community of filmmakers. You often get jobs from that on other films.
Yeah.
So
we were just saying that
journey.
Work begets work.
Yes, absolutely.
It does.
Absolutely.
My whole world I feel like it's expanded since this project. I really mean that. And I don't think that would have happened if I had let someone else. Like I'm glad that I decided to take it on that many levels. Not because it's all about me, but because it's such a growth experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Not just as an artist. Like I feel like I'm becoming a different person because of making this film.
Say it. You're finding out who you are, in terms of your writing, what you want, your message, how you tackle situations, how you deal with people relating to the film. Like there's so many levels and so many things you learn in doing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Dealing with her diva co-star.
But you know what? But it is about honoring different people and their personalities, because it is a community. It is kind of like a family, even if consider it a temporary family and then hopefully a lifelong friendship, knock on wood. I mean, I like building bridges and keeping them built, you know? So, I mean, like it does kind of like, yeah, it expands everything and it lets you see your stuff. Because
Still, one of the best times of my life was that 5 weeks in Turks and Caicos doing Dante's Cove. We were like, because we met for it was like family meal, like meal times and whatever. It was amazing. Like the bonds and friendships you make. They've kind of teetered away over the years, but
no, but in any
amazing at the time, yeah.
On any level, working on a film set, I don't know if people, I don't know, you know, people that might not have ever done any acting or been on a film set, but I know like even for like something like Luke Cage, where like if you're on a film set 2 or 3 days a week for like a 6-month period, you become attached a little bit in a weird way.
You do, yeah.
Definitely. It becomes a family, like a little family. Yeah.
Hours when you're there all day.
That's what's rough about just doing the co-star roles, going in for 1 day or 2 days. It's like you're like the outsider. You're like, hey, everybody.
I'm going to even stretch it a little further.
Thanks for letting me play with you. All right, bye. Like,
yeah, even if you're just doing, you know, like a couple of days background work, you know, on a film set or a TV set, just being open and talking to people while you're there. I've gotten 2 independent films and a stage production in 2 days, just from talking to people as a background actor.
I'm that guy. I go and talk with the background actors because I'm bored. Like, you know, it's always hurry up and wait. So then I'm like, I go and sit with the background actors and talk, like chatting it up.
And you have to be.
Then they confuse me for background. I'm like, not background.
I'm Josh. I'm the star. I'm first team.
Co-star.
No, but you're absolutely right, and you know it's a learning process, and you know, and you have to be open to learn, and you know, there's so many things that you do learn along the way.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's wonderful, but it is a lot. It's a full-time experience. I feel like I think about this film and I work on something with the film. Like there's no days off.
You're giving it a lot of heart.
Right. There you go. See?
That's right.
How apropos. Yeah.
Unintended.
That's it. What's the one thing that you want us to know about this? And then we'll wrap it up for everybody. Because I want everybody to jump in and help where you can.
I think, well, this film has a voice, but if you supporting and being a part of creating something for independent filmmakers, female filmmakers, you know, not that I'm getting on a soapbox about female filmmakers, but I think it's important that voices get heard. And the reality is that it is a community, and even the fundraising, it is a community, and it's the energy behind it when we come together to create something is an incredible, I mean, if you're into karma, good energy, and being a part of something that ultimately is going to have a message for people, hopefully they're going to go away with this and really think.
And the thing with the fundraising, like I'm at my limit of friends on Facebook. So if everybody pitched $5, we're there, you know? So
and I'll piggyback on that too. Even if you can't pitch $5 or $1, just share the link. Sharing the information because someone else may be able to jump in and help.
Yeah, it's not
That's
cheap.
how you help
It's
the
not cheap to
independent
make
artists.
films and
Right.
TV and stuff. Yeah.
It absolutely is not.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to thank you guys for spending some time here and talking about your new film. This is Noelle Joy Sorenson, Josh Berresford. The film is called Heart. It's a film about love, art, sex, and addiction. Please, the link will be in the episode of this podcast. Go in, support this film. Like I said, if you don't have the money, just share the link. Somebody else will help. This is an independent film. Also, make sure you check out season 2, episode 3 of OneMicNite podcast and check out the full interview with Josh. Josh stopped by the show in my season 2, so you'll hear his whole story. I want to thank you guys all for joining me for OneMicNite podcast. My name is Marcos Luis. You can follow me at MarcosLuis. You guys, you want to tell us how we can follow you?
On Instagram, I'm at Big Star Josh, and on Facebook, it's just my name, Josh Berresford.
And Facebook, it's Noelle Joy Sorenson, and Insta, it's Noelle J Sorenson. So,
and there you
Twitter
go.
I got rid of. It's too toxic. I'm
You can-
sure you probably know where I stand with my politics.
You can find this.
I'm like, I try to keep a positive light, and you just can't do that on Twitter.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard on Twitter.
Oh my God, people out there are nasty. I'm like, hey, bunch of numbers and no picture of a cat. Like,
that's it. The show is called One Mic Night Podcast with Marco Solis. Also, make sure you check out One Mic Night Talk, my other podcast, with screenwriter Ashley Elizabeth Green and #1 bossa nova singer Liz Menezes. That's on the One Mic Night YouTube, and you can find that on all digital platforms. Thank you for joining me for One Mic Night Podcast. We'll see you next time. Bye.